Americans have put an enormous amount of money into pre-tax retirement plans. We haven't thought a great deal about the impact of how to pull the money out for ourselves, much less the impact of how it will be transferred to the next generation. I want to talk to you a little bit about a seminar we have coming up called Leave Wisely, Inherit Wisely. And to make a point, I want to talk to you a little bit about the issue of minimum required distributions and why we have to look at them long before we turn 70 or 70 and a half. All right, you ready? Step over to the whiteboard. I'm going to again put my bar graph up here, line graph. This represents age once again, and this represents the amount of money you have in your plan. And here you are going from 40 to some future day when you stop working, maybe age 65, maybe 55, maybe 60. Everybody's different for what they want. And most of us are being advised not to pull any money out of those accounts until we reach age 70 and a half for minimum required distributions. If we only take the minimum distributions, in most cases the math works out, assuming there's some growth in the market, that the accounts will still grow to some extent, and then eventually they'll spend down over your lifetime to age at age 115. Again, the goal of the IRS was to give you a tax deferral and tax deduction in exchange for taking the money out over the course of your lifetime. Well, let's look specifically at the wisdom of the IRS in the way they've designed this. Here you are, you've stopped working. You may be in the 15% bracket or more or less once you stop working. And believe me, you can have a very good lifestyle in retirement and remain in the 15% marginal bracket. And if we defer our minimum required distributions, they're based on this value at this point. However, more often than not, we see many people whose tax rates jump up to 25% at the time they begin taking those distributions, because it's not an option. The IRS tells you how much you have to take out. Few people consider that timeline between the point where they retire and the time they turn 70 and a half. And in many cases, their income is low enough that we can distribute money to the extent they're still in the 15% bracket, meaning they're taking larger distributions. That doesn't mean you have to spend the money. You can take the money out and move it over into an after-tax account. You can use it by convert it into a Roth IRA, and there's many other choices. But taking it out of the IRA before you turn 70 and a half results in a lower balance. With all other things being equal, if you've taken money out, you'll have less. In many cases, that will drive down the required minimum distribution, and in some cases, prevent them from ever reaching that 25% marginal bracket. So pulling money out during your lifetime can give you the option to A, have lower taxes for you in the future, and then depending if it's in an ordinary after-tax account or if it's in a Roth IRA, you can leave those assets to your heirs tax-free based on our current tax code. So leave it at a higher tax rate to the heirs, or leave money that's tax-free. That's a decision you have to make, and generally long before you're 70 and a half. We'll be covering that topic and many other topics at our upcoming seminar, Leave Wisely, Inherit Wisely. We'll look forward to seeing you there.